Hello, Maddie here, y'all. We do be struggle bussin' today. So I was super duper hype my last couple of videos, and this video is just not. It's not going to be the same. And I hope that's okay. I hope that you're here for all levels of energy in terms of talking about books. Because, some days we can rant and rave the top of our lungs for hours and it's great and it's awesome. And then other days we're just chilling. We're here, we're making it happen, but energy levels are not the same. So this week we're talking about not a book, but a trope. For those of you that don't know what a trope is a common or overused theme or device. So tropes appear not only in books, but in any story. I would say in general, I think of them being as applied more to fiction than like real life. I don't look at life and be like, oh, that's a crazy trope. It's definitely something I apply to the fictional stories I consume, be that books, movies, TV shows. So the blog we're talking about, the title is Say Nope to This Trope, which is cheesy, but here's the kind of idea premise behind it. When I wrote this blog, I don't know what opened my eyes, but something opened my eyes to this trope that I just see in almost every story I consume, at least at the time. I think it's maybe gotten better, and we're going to dive into that a little bit more during this video. We're going to dissect Maddie's choices a little bit in this video. But at the time, I realized almost everything I was consuming, one or both of the main couple was already in a relationship. And I was like, I don't love that. I don't love that for a myriad of reasons. One, because even if the person they're with isn't the right person for them, they aren't inherently a bad person, but we label them as a bad person because they're not the person we want our person to end up with. Do you follow? And I don't like that. I don't like inherently labeling somebody as bad because they are with the person that the main character needs to be with or will end up with. Two, it lends itself to the possibility of cheating. While most of the things I selected, they didn't cheat. It can toe that line more than I like. They might not have physically cheated, but they might have emotionally cheated. They might have mentally cheated. They might have started not putting their all into their relationship because they were already viewing something with this other person. And I don't like that. Well, it's like, one, I don't like cheating. I feel like that's a pretty common feeling. I feel like as much as I want people to be faithful, it's also like, it's insensitive, but like break up with somebody over text and then go cheat. Even like that bare minimum, but at least you will be technically being faithful or like not being unfaithful, Like, don't do that. That's a really crappy thing to do. But like, if you're going to make these choices, like at least do the bare minimum for it not to be cheating on your partner. And don't I'm breaking up with you text and then 6 hours later to be like, oh, it's just kidding. Or like, let's get back together. Don't do that either. Like that's just the same as cheating. That's Ross and Rachel. We were on a break, because a break is not the same thing as a breakup. I'm just saying. Saying we were on a break means nothing because it's not a breakup. It wasn't broken. It was just bending. So Ross is wrong. That's not important. But this is just, at the time I realized that so many things I was reading and consuming included this trope, and one or more of my main couple was already dating somebody else. And the thing that struck me straight in the heart with this especially is The Office. It is my all-time favorite TV show. I'm obsessed with it. I've watched it just so many times. And Pam is engaged, not even just like dating. She is full on engaged when the show opens. It's one of those things that it's like, if somebody kisses you, does that mean that you cheated? I don't know. So Jim and Pam kiss while she's still engaged, which is terrible. Ultimately, that relationship falls apart, but then it falls apart, and then Jim gets into a relationship, and then that relationship falls apart, and then they get together. And you're just like, good Lord. And it's like kind of the whole time is emotional cheating, except for the little bit of time they're not talking at all. And I love that show. I love that couple. And it's like, ultimately they do get married and they have kids and they live a wonderful life. But it's like, is it the ends justify the means? And I'm like, I don't necessarily think so, because I think it's very easy not to cheat. I think it's very easy not to do these terrible things to your partner. And so we just had our eyes opened a lot, because not only does The Office have this, but in my blog, I'm not going to list them all out, but I list a whole bunch of books that I love that include this trope. So I do break it down by just super cheesy books that include this trope, some of my favorite books that include this trope, and then I say the bad ones because there is one book where they like actually cheat. The other ones, it's just they're already in a relationship. And then kind of weird ones where it include things like arranged marriages, kind of in a relationship, kind of not ones. And I include those too. So I kind of break it down from there. And there's a couple of quotes I want to include because I include them in my blog and I love them. And the first one being from Anna and the French Kiss, which is the only bad one I list because they do actually cheat. Etienne is in a long-term relationship when they get together. This quote, I believe, is after everything. So after they've talked about it, after they're actually together, after he's actually broken up with the other girl. And Etienne says, I cheated on her every day. In my mind, I thought of you in ways I shouldn't have, again and again. She was nothing compared to you. I've never felt this way about anybody before. There's quotes like that that'd be like, oh yeah, the ends justify the means. And you're like, but like he could have broken up with her sooner. He didn't have to cheat on his girlfriend and he did. And so like that makes me really frustrated because it's like that cheating also lends itself into I hate lying. Literally this last weekend, I talked about it multiple times with my sisters that lying there, I will rarely reread whatever things where lying is like one of the main tropes. And the example I was using is, so I had Sister Weekend this last weekend. It will have been more time than that when this video actually goes live, but for when I'm filming this weekend was this last weekend. And we did a Cinderella themed weekend. And it was wonderful and amazing. But one of the ones we watched is a movie called Ever After. And in Ever After, Cinderella lies about her identity and says that she's like nobility. And that's how like the prince sees her basically. And I hate that trope. I hate lying. So I always think of Ever After and I'm like, oh, I don't like that movie because it has lying. And then we watch it and I'm like, oh, I love this movie because it's such a good movie. Totally recommend. But it has lying in it. And so in my mind, I automatically like assume if lying is one of the main things, I'm not gonna like it. And cheating is definitely off of that. And I was like, I haven't read Anna and the French Kiss in a very long time because as I get older, the more and more uncomfortable it makes me, even though I do really love that book. It's really good in terms of like just helping you understand the potency of emotions and like relationships and friendships and things like that. It's a really great book. But the older I get, the less inclined I am to read it because it makes me uncomfortable. And so with that all being said, I wanted to just have a little bit of a chit chat of what are books I've consumed lately and enjoyed, or even shows I've consumed lately and enjoyed. And did they include people that were already in relationships? And I first started thinking about my TV shows that I really love, thinking about my C-dramas. And my top C-dramas, none of them are in relationships. So you have Love 020, neither of them are in relationships. Put Your Head on My Shoulder, neither of them are in relationships. The girl likes a different guy, but they are definitely not in a relationship. Falling Into Your Smile, neither of them are in a relationship. Those are just, I was like, I think of the ones where the couple never breaks up. Those are the ones that are my top tier. A Little Thing Called First Love, neither of them are in a relationship. Almost all C dramas, I guess maybe other dramas too. K-dramas, True Beauty, neither of them are in a relationship. They're not in relationships. Like cheating just isn't really a thing. Like, well, no, cheating definitely happens, but if anything close to cheating happens to the main couple, it's always a misunderstanding because there's somebody else that likes one of these people and is trying to get close to them and make the other half of the couple misunderstand. And thinking about like True Beauty, which is based off of a webtoon that they've also made into books, so it's a manga also, and it's a TV show. They have a live action, and they've also have started making a anime, I guess. And the show only kind of, but in the original webtoon, it actually does a very good job of the main character and her relationships and the gaps of time between her relationships. So there's no overlap at all. It is a very purposeful, I just broke up with this guy. I can't be with this guy because I'm not emotionally ready yet. I'm not there yet. I can't like him yet, basically. Like it's not quite that straightforward of a thought process. But True Beauty does an excellent job of the main character having more than one relationship and there being like active time and processing between relationships. Apparently Asian dramas just know what it's about. So then I was thinking about, okay, books I've read recently. Most of the books I've read recently, they haven't been in relationships. I feel like we're making progress. Now, a lot of the books I've read recently are like kind of embarrassing because they're just like, they're not like the popular, well-written books. They are pure chick lit. These are the cheesy, not much depth books. but they've been good. And yeah, I was like, they're not in a relationship. They're not in a relationship. They're not in a relationship. I don't think they are. I don't remember because I didn't like that book very much. That one, the main girl and the main guy. So in this one called Rival Darling, it's a wholesome hockey romance. Because, you know, hockey romances are like a whole thing. Right now it's really weird. But this is a wholesome, clean one, you know, closed door, whatever. At the very beginning of the book, the main girl finds out her boyfriend's cheating on her in like the first chapter. And then she uses like one of the best players from the rival hockey team and they start fake dating to make him jealous. Not to make him jealous because she doesn't want him back, but just to like get back at him. So she's technically in a relationship, but it's also not the same idea of she's just with the wrong person. I mean, she is with the wrong person, but you don't even necessarily know the right person yet. They're single, they're single, they're single, single. I don't even remember those books. Single, 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 single. That one. Yes, nope, they're both single, single, kind of single, but like kind of weird. Single, 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 single. Okay. We've grown as a person since we wrote this blog, however many years ago. Let's see, when did we write this blog? 4.5 years ago. That makes me feel a lot better because I remember writing this blog and being like, do I have a super skew, just like things that I pick? 2, is this trope in everything? And I was like so annoyed because I was just like, is this so unavoidable that like I can't even consume anything that I like because it's in everything? But no, there was hope. I just couldn't see it yet. We're actively saying nope to the trope of one or both of your main characters being in a relationship with somebody that is not the other main character when your book, movie, TV show starts. So that's awesome. We've grown as a person. Good job. So that's really all I have for today. It's just kind of recognizing what can be in books because books are awesome, but like they're not all great. Some of them are not great for a reason, not just like they have bad writing or whatever, but it's like, no, they have actively bad tropes that can maybe feed into some negativity in your brain and being like, oh, well, it is okay because I've read it so many times that makes it now fine. And you're like, not how that works at all. So we want to stop those things by saying, okay, we loved this book, but maybe there are some things that we don't apply to our life. Or we like this book and maybe there are things we apply to our life. It kind of just depends. Reading is awesome, but you should also be aware of what you're consuming because it affects your brain, it affects your relationships because it affects the way that you see the world. And whether you don't read a lot of books, maybe you watch a lot of shows, watch a lot of movies, consume a lot of content on like YouTube or whatever. Music can also do the same thing. Whatever the themes are of whatever media you consume can very much affect your life. So you just need to be aware of what you're consuming because it matters. So say nope to this trope. What are some tropes that you hate? Or it's like maybe you just hate because they're cheesy, or maybe you hate because you feel like they are like actively take away from stories like this one. What are some tropes that you've noticed and either like or don't like? Both sides of it. Thank you for listening to me rant and looking at my reading habits a little bit closer and seeing if we've grown since we wrote this stuff. Thank you for sticking around and being here, even when we don't talk about specific books. Like I said, I will link the blog, which has a whole list of books because there are some it's just funny because there are some of those books are, well, I mean, all of them I like every single book that I put in my blog, but it's just being aware of you can like a book and it can have things you actively don't like. It doesn't necessarily inherently make it a bad book. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Like, comment, share. All of those things are awesome sauce. We really, really love it. I would love if you would subscribe if you are not a subscriber because, you know, that'd be great. When my husband and my siblings are the people that comment. So like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be really, really appreciated. And with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the grace because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.